15,000 subscribers. Wow. I just want to say thank y'all so much for all this. I appreciate all of y'all, my subscribers on YouTube and on Twitch, the members, the people who participate in chat on streams, my commenters, all that. Y'all are great. Thank y'all so much. But for now, let's get to the video.
Please select your character.
If I were to ask you what move defined Old Potemkin as a character, most of you would say Potemkin Buster. And you'd be right. But also you'd be wrong. While Pot Buster is undeniably an important tool in Potemkin's arsenal, in my eyes, the tool that defines Potemkin as a character is a rather unassuming one. That tool is Hammerfall Break. To those who are unfamiliar, Hammerfall Break doesn't seem like it would be that important. It's just a way to stop Hammerfall early, right? Yes, but then you realize just how fast Hammerfall Break actually is. It's decently fast at only 15 frames, and if you do it as fast as possible from Hammerfall, it only becomes 16 frames in total. And this is where the move defines Potemkin's game plan. By replacing the recovery of Potemkin's normals with Hammerfall Break, you can turn almost every single normal in Pot's kit into a tick throw situation. Hammerfall Break allows you to both move forward and basically adjust the frame data of your normals to let you threaten a Potemkin Buster. One of the best examples of this is with +R Potemkin's infamous Vacuum 2S. Normally, 2S is -2 on block, which is okay for a tick throw, but it could be better. With Hammerfall Break, the move becomes 0 on block. This is the perfect frame data for a tick throw setup, as it's in the wonderful spot where you can make it very hard to mash out of and threaten the Buster at the same time. Add that to the fact that 2S pulls them in, and the opponent is left in a very scary situation. Now, not all normals are in the same boat, as Hammerfall Break can actually add recovery in some instances. For example, 5P is naturally -1 on block, but with Hammerfall Break, 5P becomes -7 on block. Doesn't sound great, right? But you'd be surprised at how much Hammerfall Break can throw people off. In theory, with the larger gap, they should be able to get out of the pressure easier, but sometimes they'll just sit still to get grabbed even when you're technically more minus than you would have been without the cancel. If they're not looking out for the Hammerfall Break in that specific instance, it can throw them off, and they can get scooped. Like I said earlier, so long as you've conditioned them enough, Hammerfall Break allows you to tick throw from basically any normal. And speaking of conditioning, once you have meter, you can really start to do some nasty conditioning thanks to Hammerfall FRC. On any of these spots where you can threaten a tick throw, you can instead choose to not use Break and just let the Hammerfall rock. With 25 meter, you can turn the usually death on block Hammerfall into an extremely dangerous frame trap or pressure reset. If they get hit, you get a combo. If they don't get hit, you get to continue your pressure. When they start trying to jump out, +R's Heat Knuckle is a glorious tool to stop people from jumping out, as they get left right at your feet. And Extend does crazy amounts of damage, especially in the corner. Now, let's look at this in action. In this clip, I do 2K into a slightly delayed Hammerfall Break. The Kai doesn't react in time, so I get to land a Buster. I go for the safe jump, come down with jump S, and then do 5K 2S Hammerfall Break. He once again fails to escape my Buster, so I get another safe jump. This time, I immediately go into 5P Hammerfall Break to throw off his timing, and then scoop him again. In this other example, with the hard knockdown, I go for 5K 2S 2H Hammerfall Break. I get the scoop, I safe jump again, then 5P Hammerfall Break Buster again. But this time, after my safe jump, I let the Hammerfall rock after 2S because I think May might try to jump or mash. She doesn't, so I FRC it and frame trap her with Close Slash, winning the round. In this final example, note how I don't use Potemkin Buster at all. The sheer threat of a Buster after a Hammerfall Break keeps the opponent so scared that they keep getting hit by 2D trying to escape, and then eventually they get hit by the Hammerfall trying to escape and die from that. So you've seen how Hammerfall Break is invaluable for Potemkin's pressure, but it also serves as the basis for his more advanced combos as well. By canceling 2H into Hammerfall Break, you can then route into an air combo. If you have the meter, you can route directly into the devastating aerial Potemkin Buster. As a matter of fact, if you're good enough, after an aerial Potemkin Buster in the corner, you can do 2H Hammerfall Break and then go right back into another aerial Potemkin Buster. Also, Hammerfall Break makes things naturally burst safe as you recover faster than the burst startup. But how do you manage to charge Hammerfall from all these normals? Simple, you practice your ABCs. Always be charging. With the exception of 3 normals, Potemkin can hold back or down back while performing his normals. For example, 2S is performed by pressing down and slash, but you can also press down back and slash, and that'll give you the time to charge while you're pressing 2S. Once you play Potemkin for a while, you get used to always keeping your stick on back or down back so that you can be ready to Hammerfall or Hammerfall Break at a moment's notice. It's hard to explain this part because it's very subjective, but it feels so satisfying to constantly be charging and then Hammerfall breaking again and again and again and again. When you start getting the double Hammerfalls in the mid-screen consistently, that's the good stuff. Now, I've been talking pretty much entirely about plus R Potemkin, but Exert Potemkin also relies heavily on Hammerfall Break. Unfortunately, Hammerfall Break pressure isn't as strong in Exert for 3 reasons. 1. Heat Knuckle always launches full screen no matter what, which unfortunately means you have a harder time stopping people from jumping out of your pressure in the mid-screen. 2. The removal of FRCs means that you need to have 50 meter to turn Hammerfall into a pressure reset or a frame trap rather than having 25 meter. The big screen freeze makes it extremely hard to frame trap after Hammerfall as well. 3. Vacuum 2S is gone, replaced by 6K. 6K Hammerfall Break is still good, but 6K is slightly slower than 2S. Also, the fact that 6K is an advancing normal rather than a vacuuming normal means that it can be slightly easier to play around for the defender. However, Hammerfall Break is even more crucial in Potemkin's combos in Exert, as his entire combo game in the corner relies on 6K loops. For those of you who may not know, 6K loops are done by doing 6K into Hammerfall Break. This is difficult because you need to hit 6K and then immediately start charging back in order to get the Hammerfall Break to come out in time. And then you need to do it again, and again, and again, and again, and again. Oh yeah, the 6K Hammerfall Break gets harder for every rep you do. It starts getting frame perfect after a point. If you do master it, however, you are rewarded with some of the highest damage combos in Exert. They also build a ton of meter, and if you already have meter, you can just straight up kill the opponent in certain instances. I have a confession to make. I've been playing Exert for more than a decade at this point, and I still can't get 6K loops down right. I don't know, I just can't figure out the timing for it. Thank God they let you combo into Trishula after a 6K. But I'll still always love Hammerfall Break. The sheer freeform pressure it offers is so fun to play around with, and the constant breaking is just so satisfying to hear. Maybe one day Strive Pop can get it back. A man can dream, right? Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, please make sure to like and subscribe.